Have you ever started a new habit only to quit a week later, or set a big goal that fizzled out before you even got close? Self-discipline isn't easy, but maybe it's because we're doing it wrong. Today, I'll reveal a method that can make building self-discipline feel almost effortless. Stick around to discover how a simple tweak can change everything. Self-discipline might sound like a big, intimidating concept, but in reality, it's something everyone can learn to strengthen. It's not about grit or pushing yourself endlessly. It's about understanding why your brain fights against discipline and finding ways to work with it. If you've struggled with sticking to habits, staying focused, or just getting things done, you're not alone. Today, we'll dive deep into the real reason self-discipline is so hard, and how a powerful technique called habit stacking can help you turn even the tiniest actions into long-lasting habits that actually stick. Let's start with instant gratification. In today's world, distractions are everywhere, and they offer a quick payoff. Social media, streaming shows, online shopping, all of these are designed to keep you hooked because they provide immediate rewards. And the reason we fall for them, our brains love instant gratification. We're wired to feel good when we get rewards right away. So when faced with a choice between watching one more episode of a show versus working on a long-term goal that might not pay off for months, guess which one our brains naturally want? But it's not just about instant gratification. Another big challenge is setting clear goals. A lot of us set goals that are vague, like wanting to get fit, be more productive, or improve self-discipline. While these are admirable goals, they're so broad that they don't give your mind a clear direction. If your brain doesn't know exactly what it's aiming for, it's harder to stay motivated. And when you finally set a big goal, the overwhelming nature of it can kick in. You might feel pumped to start working toward it, but once you realize how much effort it'll take, it's easy to procrastinate. Think of it like standing at the bottom of a mountain looking up. That sense of overwhelm can make you turn away before you even start climbing. So the problem isn't that you're unmotivated, it's that the task feels too big. Let's also talk about emotional regulation. When you're stressed, tired, or overwhelmed, self-discipline goes out the window. Think about it. After a long day, resisting that extra cookie or pushing yourself to study a little more feels like an impossible task. This is because emotions heavily influence our self-discipline. If you're feeling down, stressed, or simply exhausted, even the smallest acts of discipline feel monumental. And then there's the matter of willpower. A lot of us think willpower is unlimited, but it's actually a finite resource. Just like your muscles get tired after a workout, your willpower drains throughout the day. This is why decisions feel harder to make after a long day, a concept known as decision fatigue. One solution lies in working with your brain's natural tendencies rather than fighting against them. This is where habit stacking becomes a game changer. Habit stacking is the idea of taking a habit you already do regularly and pairing it with a new habit you want to build. Think about it like hitching a new routine onto an old, well-established one. The existing habit becomes a trigger for the new one, making it easier to remember and maintain. For example, let's say you want to start journaling every morning. Instead of trying to force a whole new routine, try habit stacking by attaching journaling to something you already do, like having your morning coffee. Every time you sit down with your coffee, open your journal and jot down a few thoughts or goals for the day. You're not creating a new routine from scratch. You're adding a small step to something you already enjoy and do without thinking. Now let's talk about the 2-minute rule. This rule is brilliant for overcoming the initial resistance to starting. If you have a task you dread, like cleaning or studying, set a rule to just do it for 2 minutes. Think about it. 2 minutes is so short it feels easy to commit to. And once you start, you're more likely to continue because the hardest part, starting, is already behind you. Visualization is another strategy that can be a game changer. Most people think visualization is just about picturing success, but it's equally important to visualize the obstacles. When you mentally prepare for the challenges you'll face, You're more equipped to handle them when they come up. It's like running through a mental checklist of potential roadblocks in your responses. And here's a technique that often gets overlooked: rewarding consistency over perfection. Instead of pushing yourself to be perfect every time, focus on being consistent. Perfection can be a trap that leads to burnout. But if you reward yourself for just showing up consistently, even on days when things don't go perfectly, you're more likely to stick with it. For example, if you're building a writing habit, give yourself credit for writing every day, even if some days it's only a few sentences. Let's also look at limiting decision fatigue. The fewer choices you have to make, the easier it is to stay disciplined. This is why some people like to plan their day ahead, from outfits to meals. By pre-deciding certain things, you're saving your willpower for bigger decisions. Let's say you struggle with healthy eating. Mindfulness and self-reflection are powerful tools too. When you're aware of what triggers you to break discipline, you can work on those specific areas. Start journaling or just reflecting at the end of each day to identify patterns. For instance, you might notice that you lose discipline when you're tired or stressed, so building in rest or stress relief practices could improve your self-discipline overall. Let's bring this all together with habit stacking. It's a gradual approach that lets you start small and grow over time. When you're stacking a new habit onto an existing one, you're tricking your brain into accepting this new action as part of your routine. This doesn't require massive amounts of willpower. It's about making small, intentional changes that build up into a disciplined lifestyle. Improving self-discipline is a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but with small, consistent actions, it becomes easier and more natural. By understanding the barriers like instant gratification, emotional fatigue, and lack of clear goals, you're already ahead. But instead of fighting these forces, habit stacking lets you work with your brain's natural tendencies. With each small, intentional habit you add, you're building a lifestyle rooted in discipline. Hit subscribe if you're ready to build a stronger mindset and master self-discipline.